So now, how long are you going to study? How long are you going to train to become a freight broker? People get caught up in studying and training, and that's all it is that they do. And don't get me wrong, I get it. We have to study our craft to become good at what it is that we do. And studying makes us more prepared. It's going to make you more confident when it comes time to execute on the knowledge that you've acquired. But at the same time, some people spend a whole lot of time, most of their time, just studying, looking into things instead of executing on the knowledge that they've gained. It's important to remember that knowledge in and of itself is just knowledge. I know you hear all the time people say knowledge is power. Not really. Knowledge by itself is just knowledge. Applied knowledge is power. So when you take knowledge and you start to apply it, then you have power. But I know that there are a few things that's stopping you from applying the knowledge that you've learned as a freight broker so that you can go on to be a successful freight broker. I'm going to give you 3 things that's stopping you today, and then I'm going to give you some ways to get through, get over, get beyond these things that are impeding your progress. So come on inside and let's get into the business. So before we get started, I think it's important to remember that freight broker training and college are 2 different things. I think a lot of times people approach freight broker training in the way that they would approach college. You go to college and you're taking general subjects that some have nothing to do with your major. That's different from freight brokering. Freight brokering, we're studying specific things that's going to allow for us to be able to set our business up, to go out and get customers, carriers, and shippers, and then, of course, to be able to go out and move loads so that you can make money. That's what it's all about. So I want to make sure that we're on the same sheet of music when we're saying educating ourselves as far as freight brokering is concerned. What that means is gaining the knowledge that's necessary so that you can get your business set up and start making money. Because I want to help you to avoid becoming a forever student. This is not about being a student for a long period of time. This is about getting what it is that you need and then getting out into the workspace and starting to put that information into place so that you can learn and start building the business that you want to build. So without further ado, let's get into the business. So now I realize there's different strokes for different folks. So I may not hit on the problem that's stopping you from building a successful freight broker business. So if I don't, within these 3 things that I'm going to talk about today, please drop us a comment and let us know what's stopping you, what's preventing you from being a successful freight broker. But problem number 1, the one thing that I see more often than anything else, that thing that a person says, hey, this is the thing that's stopping me. This is why I cannot be successful as a freight broker. That thing they say is, I don't know enough. Now, we can all say that. I don't know enough to do this. I don't know enough to do that. And if you use that excuse, you'll continue to say that, especially as a freight broker, because there's so many things to know. But that's the problem. People focus on all of the small things, the trivial things about freight brokering. What you need to be concerned about is the things that help you get that first customer, move that first load. That's what it's all about. Because what it really boils down to is you learn the process of freight brokering through moving loads. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, you're definitely going to want to know some things before you get started brokering freight. That's just how it goes. But at the same time, we don't want to get bogged down into the minutia. We want to go ahead and get out in the workspace and start working, start doing this business, because that's how you learn it. When I start moving loads, that's really when I start to see the process. I start to see what it is that my customer needs, what it is that they want, and then I can start providing those things. But it's about doing it so that you learn more about your specific situation, about what your customer wants. Because my situation with my customers can be totally different than yours. But I'll still give you my experience. I'll let you know what it is that I have gone through, what I'm doing with certain customers. But it still may be different from the customers that you have relationships with. So we got to go out and start doing this thing. We got to go out and start actually moving loads, and that's when you really start to see the process. You can use the excuse, I don't know enough, all day long. But remember this, if you use that excuse and you keep using that excuse, you'll never build a successful freight broker business. The second reason that I hear a whole lot why people can't move their business forward is because they are afraid to make mistakes. And what I want to let you know is that mistakes are just a part of life, and that's a fact. It's not the mistake that you make, it's how you respond to the mistake that really counts. People are so concerned about making mistakes that they don't do anything. They say, hey, I don't want to make mistakes, so they get paralyzed and they never start to move the business forward. Now, what it's all about is going in and start working with customers and then start to make mistakes. Because when you make mistakes, you learn from those mistakes and you don't continue to repeat them. And remember this, whether you're a new freight broker or you're a seasoned freight broker, all of us make mistakes. I've been in the business now 6 years and I still make mistakes today. The important thing is I learn from those mistakes and I try not to make those same mistakes moving forward. One last thing that I want to share with you about mistakes. It's not about how we make mistakes, but it's about how we correct those mistakes that really define us. So get out there and make some mistakes and build a successful freight broker business that you want to build by learning from those mistakes. Another thing that we see is people not spending enough time in the business in order to make the business work. You see, a business, especially when we first get started, it's like a baby. It requires your attention, it requires your time, it requires your effort in order to make it grow. If you don't, put those things into the business, you're not going to grow the business. That's just how it works. Most time we have a job when we first start our business and we're splitting time between the job and the business. And we have this idea that the business is going to grow on minimal effort. And what I can tell you today is that that's not going to happen. You're going to have to put the time into the business in order for it to work. A lot of times we go to work, we spend 8, 9, 10 hours a day at work, and then when we get home, we just don't have the energy to put into the business. We don't want to build a business and work a job. We would much rather spend our time working on the business. But unfortunately, we have a job, and that job helps you to even maintain the business. So you have to split the time between the job and the business. The problem is we don't put enough time into the business. When you're running a business, you're starting a business, one of the things that you want to do is to figure out, okay, if I work 8 hours a day, if I'm working 5 days a week, what time am I going to put into the business? How much time? Whether you're putting 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever it is that you're doing a day, you have to make sure that you're committing to that time. After you've worked your time at work and then you come to start on your business, don't take that time lightly. Don't look at that time as, oh, I'm just passing time here until I go back to work. You have to be committed to that time. You have to be committed to building the business. So make sure that when you're looking at your time, when you're splitting time between the job and the business, make sure that the time that you give to the business is for the business. And also be aware that money is not a substitute for time. Sometimes we think that if we go in and we spend a whole lot of extra money on the business, we have a whole lot of extra resources, it's going to somehow help us to build a successful business. Now, don't get me wrong, it's good to have resources, but if you're not utilizing those resources, if you're not putting those resources into work, then they're just resources. It's like going to the grocery store and buying groceries and coming back and putting them in the refrigerator and never using them. So we want to make sure that we are utilizing our time to build a business. Don't focus on resources. Don't focus on spending money. Focus on spending the time in the business in order for it to be successful. Because what could end up happening, or I should say very likely happen, is that you'll have a whole lot of things set up. You have the business set up, the surety buying set up, the factoring company set up, all of the resources, all of the things that you need, but you're not utilizing those things. So they just sit and you pay for them, and sooner or later, your business ends up failing because you're not making money. Let's put the time in and start moving the business forward. All right, I know I told you I'd give you 3, but I'm gonna give you 4, one to grow on here with a bonus. And that one is, people don't build a successful business because the freight broker business end up being something that they didn't anticipate. You see, some people don't think that freight brokers are salespeople, but that's what we do all day, every day. We're salespersons. We sell ourselves, we sell our business to shippers, to carriers. That's what it's all about. From the time that I get up in the morning to the time that I go to bed, I'm selling myself. And you're doing that right now in life. You're selling yourself on your job. You're selling yourself to your children. If you believe in certain things, you want to make sure that they see it the way that you see it sometimes. So you're selling yourself, selling your ideas. So that's what this is all about. Don't get it twisted. A freight broker is a salesperson. Selling myself to shippers, selling myself to carriers, selling my way of doing business to customers. And remember this, when you're a salesperson, you're in the best business in the world. This business pays more money than any other business when you're very good at what it is that you do. So the question is, how do you become a good salesperson? How do you become a good freight broker? Well, it's very simple. You start out, you start making mistakes, you start learning from those mistakes, and you keep moving your business forward, and eventually you walk into your success. That's how it works. It's not something that's just going to come easy. It's something that you're going to have to put time into. You're going to have to put energy and effort into it all the time. And when you do that, eventually you get to where it is that you want to go. Now, is it going to be magic? Of course it's not. It's something that's going to take time. But if you give it the time that it deserves, you can definitely turn your business from making $0 right now to making whatever you want to make in the future. And that's the beauty of sales. There's no limitation on the income that you can earn. You decide that. You decide your own limitations. So really quick recap of the 4 things that stop you from being successful as a freight broker, impede your progress is number 1, you use the excuse to say, I don't know enough to get my business started. I don't know enough to start engaging customers. Number 2, you say, hey, I'm afraid to make mistakes. I don't want to go out and make mistakes and embarrass myself. Number 3, you don't spend enough time in your business. This business requires that you spend time in order for it to work. And number 4, you didn't know it was all about sales. A freight broker is a salesperson. You didn't know that. Now you know. So the bottom line is the freight broker business is not rocket science. It's not that difficult. It just requires commitment and dedication over a long period of time. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I certainly hope this information has been helpful. If you're interested in learning more about the freight broker business, check out my free 5-video series titled How the Load Movement Process Works. Link in the description. If you're a little bit tired of just hearing people talk about the business, you want to see exactly how it works, you'll be able to come into my office and watch me move freight, talk to shippers, talk to carriers. That way you get a good idea of exactly how the business works. And if you're not quite sure how to find customers to work with, I'm going to leave you my free video titled How We Find Shippers. And then I'm going to also leave you a video that shows you, once you find that shipper, how you can make $10,000 per month with just one shipper. Have a great day. I wish you the very best in your life and business. See you at the top, because the bottom is much too crowded.